Welcome to the Bold Analysis. Thank you very much for supporting this podcast. Kithure Kindiki, the Interior CS, Interior Security CS, Internal Security CS, has released a statement after the explosive mass action that was witnessed in this country. And looking at that statement, it is very clear that the events of Wednesday caught government off guard. I think all along, the mass action has always been underestimated. But what was witnessed in that mass action is something that cannot be wished away. And in that statement, there is this excerpt where he's saying that government has tonight mobilized all the law enforcement agencies of the state and the institutions of our country's criminal justice system to conclude investigations urgently and proceed to arrest and prosecute all those involved in planning, execution of the crimes committed today, including those who funded or otherwise aided or abetted the offenders. If I'm very objective in reading that statement, it is very clear that pro-government officials have been insisting that the financier of mass action in this country is Uhuru Kenyatta. They've been insisting that. So the suspect number one, who the country should expect to be arrested, should be Uhuru Kenyatta. That's number two. That is number one. Number two, they've always blamed Raila Odinga, that Raila Odinga is behind organization and is the person that is just looking for destruction of property. So the suspect number two then should be Raila Odinga. What am I saying? If the criminal justice system will narrow down to some very less influential and petty offenders like protesters without arresting Raila and Uhuru Kenyatta, then it is very clear then that what Kindiki is saying is hot air. But what does that information share? It simply depicts a statement there that maybe they are thinking of arresting Raila. Today, I saw on Wednesday, there was a contingent of police camping around his home. But later in the afternoon, we saw Raila addressing a presser in Jaramogi Oginga Odinga Foundation, then in Upper Hill. Now, is Kindiki, or does the government have the guts to arrest Raila Odinga? Because I do think arresting Raila Odinga is something that cannot just be done because it either serves as a catalyst or a climax of the mass action. And the reason why I'm saying this is Kindiki dilemma on the discussion about arresting Raila. Now, if you send the investigation agencies, then you narrow down, fine. The organizers of that mass action is Azimio la Umoja leadership, maybe Azimio la Umoja secretariat and so. Then the investigative agencies, those people come back and tell Waziri, the person we are supposed to arrest is Raila. Will Waziri allow them to go and arrest Raila Odinga? Will they go to arrest Raila Odinga? Kindly subscribe to our channel, click the notification bell and like our video. I want to say thank you very much for those who have supported us and supporting us in these fundraisers that we are finishing. This is the fundraiser to support Sarah Onyango. This lady here you are seeing, and I've realized I have new subscribers who have been asking me, Kevin, I'm not getting the background of the whole of Sarah. Sarah suffered acute lymphatic leukemia last year. No, she was diagnosed with that. But that was late, I think late stage 2. And we supported her as Bold family with throughout the medication with a bill of in the tune of 1 million. But after that, she came out of the hospital and was then going through chemotherapy. The chemotherapy has only lasted for 1 year. And on 26th June, of course, we received the sad news that we had lost Sarah Atieno. So what we're doing under this podcast is, and also the welfare of the child is also at stake. And so we are also just coming in support, and that's why we're doing the 100 Bob challenge. I've realized those who are still asking, Kevin, how about if I can do Thursday? Yes, there's no problem. Now, what are we staring at? What is the dilemma? The biggest dilemma of Kindiki is thinking of arresting Raila Odinga, leave alone arresting, thinking of arresting. This is his dilemma. I've narrowed his dilemma into these three understandings. What would be the public reaction when you arrest Raila? Fine, you arrest, then the breaking news, Raila Odinga arrested. Kindiki and the whole intelligence team do not still, there is that unknown, as in what exactly will happen. Are we going to have protests? And if it is going to be a protest, then, there is a point of we have nothing to lose. There is something that you need to see in the political arena. There are those who see Raila Odinga as the only hope they have. And I know I've been receiving calls. Some people ask me, Kevin, Baba Man is fighting for us, but do you think he's going to manage? There are people that are asking tough questions about Raila. So they see him as the only option remaining. So when he's arrested, people will be in the mode of, we have nothing to lose. The only thing we've been fighting for, the person that was in the forefront, is also been arrested. And the second reaction will be, so if you arrest Raila was not in the streets, like today he was not on the street. But are you going to then arrest everyone? When you arrest him, the people will come out in the sense like, are you going to have another question of, instead of arresting Raila, just arrest all of us? The second dilemma Kindiki is having here is the criminal justice system is now infiltrated, heavily infiltrated by civil society organizations. You have to remember, former Chief Justice William Mutunga came out for the first time to defend, to ask for release of protesters. Since he left office, there have been protests in this country. Since 2017, there were some protests. Even there was first phase of mass action. Even Eric Omondi has been leading protests and people were arrested, but has never come out. But on the Saba day, the one that was called on Friday, despite the fact that it is Raila Odinga that called for Saba, William Mutunga came out and went to Central Police Station demanding release of protesters. So, what Kithure Kindiki might also ask himself is this: will I be able to charge Raila in our criminal justice system? Will you be? Or it will be another case of you've tried arresting, then take to the courts and find no case, you have to release. But then, even if you are to, where are you going to take him? And that is the other dilemma they have. Our criminal justice system is heavily infiltrated. We'll be in a position to execute a case against Raila. You think about it. The third dilemma is there have always been attempts to suppress the profile of Raila Odinga. And his profile for over time has been largely on a freedom fighter. So he's been detained. He was detained way back in the 1990s. And when you arrest and detain him now, you will actually create the euphoria, the momentum for another liberation front. Because when Raila is arrested, the whole thing turns to be seeking release of Raila. And the dilemma around it is that Kenyans can converge around that. I can tell you, even those who support UDA are just supporting UDA because of political party. They're just supporting William Ruto because of political party. But if you ask them what Ruto has done so far, everyone else understands that things are not good. So they don't want to. Will you elevate the profile of Raila? Yes. Will you give him political clout? Yes. And that is one thing they would not want, because the interest there will be that Kenyans are no longer interested and do not hear what he's saying. I want you to imagine where situation where he's arrested. Just imagine. I know it ends at imagination. It's there. Lastly, the other dilemma that Kindiki have is the spotlight on the other side of the law enforcement. This issue is two-sided. There is those who are blaming Azimio la Umoja for the protest, or they are blaming organizers. But again, there are also those who are blaming the security officers for using excessive force. So while you can pursue those who you think organized it, but the responsibility of the state was also to handle the situation. Pressure will also be piled on you to rein on police officers that wreak havoc on the people. And so that is a bit of it. I really do not think, but looking at what happened in this country, looking at these video clips, we need to retreat fast. You don't need to. In fact, I think even that pressure by Kindiki was unnecessary. I think we need to retreat as a country first and ask, okay, fine. So this was this way. Do we really want this? Is it really what we want? And who bears the responsibility? That discussion, we need to have that discussion. Otherwise, I think we are not headed in the right direction. Thank you.